Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out, with your hosts Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, doing an avocado thing. Ahoy!
Hello. Still not used to Robot Lady telling me about being recorded.
Oh, yeah.
I was expecting to hear your voice and I was like, hey, oh, wait, it's Robot Lady first. Hold on.
Listen to our leader first.
Right. Or else.
Free time.
It's something.
I'm going to start calling her Delph.
Like the Oracle?
Yeah.
Like
it tells you what's about to
the
go.
Oracle of Apollo?
Yeah.
Right. That's what...
Whatever.
That's where I go when you say that. That's the first thing my brain thinks of.
I think Delphi. You know.
Yeah, the Oracle at Delphi.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello. Ahoy.
Hi.
I've been trying to say ahoy more to people, and I think it's going really well.
Have you bought a boat? Aaron, did Collin buy a boat?
Are you answering telephones? Isn't that how they originally intended people to answer telephones?
Oh, that's
Ahoy.
true. Yes.
Hello.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Collin's either bought a boat or been reading a biography of Alexander Graham Bell. Which one is it?
Well,
Collin Klein.
between those two options, no boat and no biography. I have just lame. No, I've decided that that's my new thing. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to help.
To say ahoy.
Ahoy.
It's like when you give yourself a nickname. People are like, yeah, I'm gonna have people call me like Blazer or something. It's like no one's gonna call you that.
Aaron's been watching movies from the early 90s.
That's what I get.
AKA Dodgeball.
Oh yeah. It's like the anniversary of that movie or something, right?
It's 20.
Something like that. Where people will be like, "Oh yeah," people call me like Firestorm. Person background, like no one
calls
me
that. Stop it.
Called them that.
No, I just I was like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been having to say hello to a lot more people now that I'm back in the office that I'm just like,
oh, true. Gotta jazz it up a little.
Hashtag can't even. So I'm like,
yeah,
I gotta jazz it up a little bit, do something a little, unexpected. And so yeah, I've been saying ahoy, and nobody's like said anything about it yet. Of course, they could be really concerned about my mental state, so maybe that's
true. They just like nobody's like giving you the double take, like what?
Yeah.
What did you just say to me?
Exactly. Right. So I'm I'm going with it until somebody does something. So,
all right. I mean, I do appreciate you got to mix up a little bit, right? You got to do your thing. It's not quite as bad as giving yourself a nickname thing, but I
figure people do that on emails. I kind of, I don't know. Although
you have your own signature, is that what it is?
People say instead of like thanks or thank you, they'll say cheers. I don't know how many emails you get from those kind of people.
I get none of those. Oh. I don't work with any British people. I don't get cheers.
It's really big. It
sounds like a very British thing to say.
Well,
to me.
in academia and the science world, many professors will end their emails with cheers. And so I don't think saying ahoy is quite at the level of cheers, but I'm
sure.
That's where I'm kind of.
A lot of my colleagues, hopefully, are listening to this. They're really bad at emailing, right? Like so in the teacher world, you get two kinds of emails, right? You get the one that's like really long and drawn out, but doesn't really tell you anything. And you're like, why did you send me this? What is even happening right here? Or you get the one that you read it and you go, they asked for something, but I can't quite make out what it was. So like, there's either like the full body, like wonderful, like beautifully professional email, right? Like inter-office memo. These people took computer science class and typing, right, a long time ago, and they still remember what that looks like.
Yeah.
And then the other people send like 3 lines. It's like, what? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And they either have no signature whatsoever because they're like, I mean, the email clearly says it's from me, so whatever. Or the signature line has some sort of really bizarre quote attached to their name, like the auto signature thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in other professions? Because in the teacher world, there's like one of the people I work with, every email he sends, it has that stupid quote that's like, "Oh, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree," or whatever that one is, or something like really uplifting and inspirational. Like, stop. Or every single job title you have at school, like every committee you're on under email, like, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can just imagine in the world of conservation how many like Henry David Thoreau quotes there are, or like Walden, or
that's true.
Etc.
It's just all Thoreau and John Muir.
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. And then they've got to give. My favorite is whenever they give their name, their title, the institution that they're with, their like address, like where they're located, where their main office is. Then they'll give their work phone number with extension, their cell phone number for direct contact. Many times they'll have an alternate phone number plus a faxed one. And then my favorite is whenever they include their email address as part of their signature, which I don't understand because you emailed me.
I mean, I did just get an email from you. So like, maybe you don't have to tell me your email address.
Not. My other favorite is that whenever because that's auto, and yet they still will sign off above that because it's just habit. So, they'll be like, "Hey, thanks for the email," or "Thanks for letting me know about this period, new line," and then they'll sign their first name, and then below that is their full signature. And it's like,
oh yes,
you did the auto one anyway, and you still felt the need to sign it. So now it's like double signed. Why did you have the auto one in there? But I get it, because I'll send an email and I'll be like, "Oh, this feels too formal to leave in, or this feels not formal enough to leave in the auto one that I have." So I'll delete the auto one and then just put my first name. Other times I'll leave the auto one in there if it's for a separate kind of email or whatever. But those ridiculous email etiquette crap we've got to try and figure out.
That's true. It's very confusing. So,
anyway,
it's tough. Sorry.
That. How's
yeah?
So you're not in summer school, but you're not in school back yet. So like, what's the limbo time yielding you?
Yeah. It's sort of like this whole week has been like, oh, what have I been doing? Nothing really. It's been kind of like hanging out, doing nothing. It's been interesting. So yeah, it's been a nice little break. Just like I can turn my brain off a little bit and stop worrying about all this weird stuff, and then deal with it later. So it's been pretty good. But yeah, summer school got over, and then we just kind of been hanging out. Like,
nice.
Yeah. Susan still had to go to work this week. She's taking off next week for a little bit, just because she has like so much vacation days that she's going to use them. So I don't really have anything to do either, but she's going to stay home, hang out, and then try and decide if I want to go back and start my room early or just wait until August. I probably need to go up there and just move my shelves around because they a little miffed at the janitorial staff because I drew them a map and told them where I wanted all my furniture, and they put a lot of it in the wrong spot. So I'm like, and I'm missing a desk. Like, I don't know where my desk is. So like, well, my student desk's not like my desk. It's like gone.
Stole your desk.
Yeah, it's gone. I don't know where it is. So I put my name on it. My room number's on there. I don't know where it went. I have no idea. And so, mysterious mysteries. Got to find that thing. So that's pretty much it. I've just been kind of hanging at home, watching the tour, watching bike crash show.
Extraordinary.
Jeez Louise, is nuts. And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Have they caught that the spectator yet? I don't. Oh yeah.
So I heard this morning that they did.
Okay.
They had a lot to talk about today because it was the time trial stage. So like nothing super exciting happened till the last like hour when all the like big dudes went. So so lots of time just like, oh yeah, hey, we found this lady. So they did finally find her through tips. People, somebody was like, oh hey, I know that person. Get him. So, but yeah, it took a few days to track her down.
Yeah.
They're planning on filing lawsuit against her, and I don't know if she's going to face criminal charges or not. Like, she basically murdered Tony Martin. So, like,
at least his tour chances.
that dude cannot catch a break in the tour, like ever. Like he's always like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna go. He's like a time trial monster, right? And he's like all this stuff. He's like, oh, I'm feeling great. It's gonna be my year. Boom, crash, right? Like every single time. Like, so he didn't really get to do much in the time trial today. Like he wasn't just kind of like right? Like, so. And yeah, I blame myself slightly. Here I was lauding Jumbo Visma team, and then like they got taken out by a sign.
Yeah, man, they're really that was yeah. I mean, but ever since then too, it's just been a mess. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very. I don't know. I have two minds of a lot of this stuff because they get all like upset. They're like, oh, well, they made us go on this road. Like, yeah, the road does kind of stink. But also, you are a professional bike rider, right? So, like, I understand there needs to be a balance. We need to there does need to be more done for, like, rider safety, right? Like, they do a lot of that stuff. Like, they take out the roundabouts. They do some stuff, right? Sometimes, why did you put so many turns on this sprint finish? I don't know. I understand that. Some of those complaints are weird, but at the end of the day, you're also a professional cyclist who should be able to ride on the road.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, and they have an organization, right? So actually, all the professionals, a percentage of their pay goes to their to the organization that's supposed to lobby and do all this stuff for them, and they're like,
yeah, apparently they're not doing their job.
Useless,
like
right? They don't do anything, and so I'm like, I would be more mad at them for not.
Yeah, I'd be mad at them too. Like again, I'm of two minds because I also don't want to see people crashing. Right, I don't want to see that. That's not good. I don't want people to crash. I don't want people to get hurt. I don't want the tour dynamic to change because there was a monster crash and like the GC favorites are all injured now. Like Primoz Roglic, his whole entire left side is like destroyed. Right, Geraint Thomas dislocated his shoulder in a fall randomly. Right, he just like fell down. So like, you know, all these dudes just like getting hurt. And understand, like, it's also hard to know because like the first week of the tour is also always crashy. Because it's such high profile, everyone's so like twitchy and on edge all the time. Did it sort of always like that in the first week? So I don't know how much this is different.
Well, I think it's just a little more extensive, and I think they put twitchy riders on some roads that didn't need to be there, right?
There were some. So I would agree. Some of those roads they did this weird. They were wide, and then they would like bottleneck down to like a weird country road for a while, and they would get wide again, and then slam down real thin. That's not helpful, right? That's not helping the situation any. But I can't help but feel like because Thomas crashed, because Rodlich crashed, now we're angry, right? Now we're mad because like because usually in the first week, like the dudes that fall are on like the B level teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're on like the EF education team, right? No offense, Rigoberto, love you, great, but like there's like the second tier teams, right? Those are the ones that fall off in the first week, you know. And when it's like two of the biggest, most expensive teams have major crashes,
yeah,
now we're upset.
Yeah, I think that's
right.
Totally,
now we're mad.
Totally, what happened is that usually these teams, I think usually that level of team is more strategic about their placement in the field around those obstacles. Like I feel like they've done better scouting before.
That's true.
And
we're completely disregarding Sign Lady because that is like an outside event.
Completely disregarding that. Yes.
That'd be like a couple of years ago arguing like, well, they shouldn't have been there when that dude like threw all the thumbtacks in the middle of the road. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was directed.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like 2011 or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I can't remember what the motivations for that were, but anyway, like for the road stuff, I remember many people being like, hey, these people need to pull out and get way ahead of everybody so that they're not at this spot in the road or the spot in the course when there's 50 other guys around them, because that's when accidents happen. It doesn't seem like anybody's trying to do that. I don't know. So it was just weird. That's why I'm of two minds, right? Because like on the one hand, the first week is just always crashy, like all the time. Like, and these roads aren't. I mean, also like the roads like that they ride on this week, normally, because they ride on roads like that all over France, but it's not the first week. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they ride on those roads like the second week, they go through those little tiny real villages in like the second, third week of the tour. And so everybody's kind of settled in the game, not day one. Right? You know, like,
yeah, no, it really is something to not discount that really is a major component of the race. And that just, I think a lot of things lined up this year, and it did, you know, with the Sign Lady, that definitely put jitters in with everybody and really threw off everything as well. So
yeah, because now we're even more antsy because a crazy person hit Tony Martin with a sign.
Yeah, didn't
help. And that wasn't a function of like, because that team they were right at the front. They were right there on the front right-hand side in theoretically one of the safest locations on the road, right? And then that lady stuck her big sign out in the middle of the road and clotheslined Tony Martin and just took him out. That poor guy, man. So that's it. You know, like part of being a road cyclist is riding on the road, and all the, you know, all that entails with how like not even it is and everything like that. I was searching for a word there, I went blank slightly. So on the one hand, you are a road cyclist, but on the other hand, I think the road choice is important because you don't want them to drive down like nasty, janky pothole roads either, because that's not good unless it's a cobblestone stage. And then you say, everybody, we're riding on the cobblestones. There's going to be cobblestones, and then like you just know, right?
Well, yeah, but then it becomes like then it becomes a spring classic, and that's different. But
yeah, it's Perry Roubaix all of a sudden on just stage 5. But like,
fun.
It'd be fun to watch. I don't know if it'd be fun to ride on.
No, I always like the after, like the before and after shots of the riders of like what they look like, and after the status of their hands and their face, and you're just like, oh my,
like
God,
muddy, like oh my
horrid. In case you're wondering, you're close. The thumbtack was from 2012, right as they were climbing the summit of the Pyrenean climb, and it was when Bradley Wiggins was in the front, and they think it was to sabotage him and other cyclists there. So. 30 cyclists.
I remember Team BMC had lots of thumbtacks in their wheels. I seem to recall that. So that was
yes, they are. That's the only people I see on the side of the road right now. The pictures,
this is all lots like of TJ and Cadell Evans, right? And it was like, wow,
yeah. Anyway,
so yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah,
but yeah. So the sign lady, maybe, hopefully, wasn't malicious intent, just being dumb.
Just
sticking a 4-foot cardboard sign that said, "Let's go, Grandma, Grandpa," out in front of Tony Martin. Why you do that?
Say hi. Yeah, wrong time.
Wrong time. But it has been interesting because now, like, it's very like, oh, okay, well, now, like, in the day, 5? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, man, who is gonna? Because the dude's got it now. But whatever his name is, I can't remember. He's not gonna keep it. Right. And so, what happens now? Can Team Jumbo-Visma recover? Is after the time trial today, Pogačar, holy cow, that dude got flat ride time trials. It's ironic because I saw a video today online somewhere like, do time trials still help win the Tour de France? Like, last year Pogačar literally won the last day in the time trial.
Yeah.
And this year it's going to play a huge role in the yellow. Just get out of here with your clickbait titles, you stupid video. Get on.
Well, I mean,
because they are boring to watch and they're not super interesting. But if the goal is to find the best all around bike rider, I feel like you have to have a time trial, right? It's like kind of important.
It's part of that. It is part of that. But yeah, I mean, Pogačar, I mean, he's looking really good with stage 5 today. But he's still, it's crazy how rapidly the field changed just recently, even. So,
today.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday and today, it flipped pretty hard. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Van der Poel's in yellow, but
Van der Poel's thing.
Yeah. He's in yellow.
He's not keeping that though. He's not keeping that. There's no way.
No, but maybe the Manx Missile will come and put in a few more good.
Get out of here! Stop it! Hate that guy. So mad. Yesterday, I just knew it. I knew from the moment the TV came on, and all they talked about for 4 hours was how much they love Mark Cavendish. I was like, he's going to win today, and I was going to be pissed all day. And guess what? I was all day long.
He's back.
Hooray.
31st Tour de France stage after 3 years.
Yay. What's going to happen is he's going to get 35, and then his name is going to be at the front of that graphic for all eternity. Mm-hmm. And my life will be ruined forever. Looking at his stupid, smug little British face. And he's like, hey guys, such a jerk. I hate that
guy. I mean, let's just be real, though. Like, you have to be honest and just realize like the fact that he was literally called on like so last minute to the tour, and he shows up and is able to do that. Like that's
fair, I guess.
It is quite
but still,
his attitude and personality aside, just like he hasn't been on been at the tour in 3 years, and not that he's been sitting on the side. We've talked about.
Well, no, he hasn't been selected for the team.
He has been selected, and
he's still been racing it. So
the guy who was supposed to have this spot couldn't make it.
No, that's not exactly what happened. Have you heard about that story?
No.
Basically, him and De Koning Quickstep are on the outs, and they're like, "Fine, we're not picking you to go." Oh. And he's the guy that won the green last year.
Yes.
He's like really good, and they're basically like, "Nah, screw you. We're not picking you for the team."
Yeah.
So there's some sort of internal drama on that team right now.
Well, but that's hard when these people's contract come up, and like it's kind of that time of the season where this is going to make or break some of them, and yeah, I can see how if you let it get out that you're not planning on re-upping before you get into the tour, it's like, why are you even here? Right? Like,
I mean, yeah, that's true. Like,
you
well, we're not going to bring you. Take that. We're not going to increase your value for some other team.
Exactly.
Right? That's the other.
Right? It's not going to, don't want to help your cause here.
Well, and that kind of talk is what they brought up, what TJ Van Garderen was talking about. Not TJ. I always keep calling it Christian Vandeveld, the commentary guy.
Yeah.
They're talking about the cycling union, like we were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, one of the reasons why they won't do that is because all the teams like don't want to talk to each other.
No.
Because it's so competitive. And so they don't really work together very well. And the fact that the teams like come and go all the time, sponsorships change, the teams are always different, it makes it really hard to have like a union that'd be like, hey, let's keep the riders safe and do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. On that side note, I saw for the first time ever a commercial for Alpacin, and I know what it is now.
What?
They're in it's hair care stuff. Like
shampoo or something.
I was unaware of that. It's like shampoo. I think it's like one of their deals that have like caffeine in the shampoo or something. I don't really know. But like I was watching the tour and a commercial for Alpacin came on. I was like, I've seen this name on this jersey for I can't even tell you how many years now. And this is the first time I actually am figuring out what on earth the product is. It's European, obviously. It's like German or something, I think. But like, I was like, there's the epiphany moment this week. It's like, whoa, it's an actual thing that does stuff. Look at there.
Well, I should go and see if they have it in our European market that we have here in town.
You should report back. Can you find how many products can you find that are on t-shirts on the Tour de France in your European market?
Oh my gosh, that would actually be
because all most of the teams are based in Europe, right?
Yeah.
So like a lot of them are, quick step flooring and all that stuff. That I'm like, what? I don't know. But like, yes, it's very interesting. You should see. On the side note, one more commercial note, and then we'll move on. Talk to Aaron a little bit here. NBC Sports, which the tour is broadcast on television, they have this really bad habit of like, I feel like they just pick a commercial and that's the one that they show all the time.
Well, yeah. I mean,
for the last several years, it has been Michelob, right? Hashtag not sponsored, by the way. And they just play the same super annoying beer commercial over and over and over. And this year, the commercial they have picked is from Rockstar energy drink. Also not sponsored, by the way. Yeah. And it is the most annoying commercial I've ever seen. Mostly because of the line that they say in there, and it drives me crazy all the time. This commercial is featuring the rapper known as, I had to look this up, Lil Baby. And I hope he didn't write this, because rappers should know better. Hopefully somebody just gave him this line. But it's about like, it's one of those commercials like, oh, you just got to work hard and not give up and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because energy drink, I don't know. But he says something to the effect of, like, he wasn't born this way. I have to grind to shine like a star on a hot night. What? Exactly. That's what? That doesn't make any sense.
Why does the temperature?
I don't know.
What's the star?
I don't understand. This is literally the worst simile I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
right. And that's like the big line in the commercial.
Oh,
is that, and it plays on my television every single commercial.
The salt
break
on my ears
during the tour. And at the beginning, if you don't know how bicycle racing is generally broadcast on television, listeners, the beginning, they front load all the commercials in the beginning.
Yes.
Because the last like little bit is the actually exciting bit, right? Or they have like long sections of like hill climbs and mountains where there's no commercials, none, and so they move them around in weird spots.
Yeah.
So you'll get these like at the kind of close to the beginning, you just get assaulted with commercials like every few minutes, and they do that pull out thing where it's like you can still see race, but there's a commercial playing, like a picture in picture type situation.
Yeah.
But this commercial plays every single commercial break. It's so bad. Just because the simile doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, that's really bad. Given the status of most modern rappers these days, I'm going to guess that he thought that was like the best line.
I don't know. I'm going to hope that he didn't write that. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the work of Lil Baby at all. So I cannot confirm nor deny his prowess at rhyming and wordplay. But I hope that he didn't write that because that's so bad.
No, that is
like, man. Yeah, it's so bad. It's been driving me crazy. Every time it comes on, it's like, no, so cringy. Don't look at it.
Why?
It's awful.
I'm sorry you've had to suffer through that.
Yes, it's all right. It's
is it all right?
Hurts me. No, it isn't. It's not all right.
No.
I don't even know what to try to say. I don't understand what a hot night and a star have to do with each other. The temperatures of either of those things have no effect on the other whatsoever.
No,
do stars shine less when it's cold? I don't really understand what's happening.
Oh, yeah. Ice and atmosphere. Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm getting it.
Yeah, cirrus clouds, bro. Like, I don't understand.
God.
I don't know what that means.
That's the thing. It doesn't mean anything. That's the problem.
I don't know what that means. Because you like it, the metaphor, the simile implies that the star has to work harder to shine
when it's hot out.
When the night is hot.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't.
No, the star is unaware of the temperature of surrounding celestial bodies.
That's true because it's millions of miles away.
It's just going to do what it's going to do because it's a star. It's not gonna...
And it doesn't. Yeah, like I don't.
Maybe.
I don't.
Oh, maybe you're the star. Maybe you're the star, Brandon.
Well, maybe.
I think that's what it is.
Maybe they're like, hey, temperature on Earth comes from the sun, which is a star, but it's closer, so it's shining the most. And even at night, you have to overcome that star to be seen because it's hot. I don't know. I lost it there. It was going well for a minute, and then it went
really deep.
The focus on temperature here is really the problem.
It's mostly the confounding factor of what we're involved in.
It's one of the largest. There are others, but it's the largest one, in my opinion.
Agreed.
The qualifier of hot night really doesn't. Because maybe, like, I could see if it's like at night, though, like there's lots of stars, and you got to work to shine the brightest. Maybe. But the hot night, not.
Maybe that's what the work. It's hot because of their hard work, and the hotter you work, it's kind of like this positive feedback loop. I think we're beating this pretty well. Aaron, save us.
Aaron, save us, please help.
How are you?
Honestly, I have his attention, guys. I've dropped the ball on this one. I tried watching the Tour de France. I just cannot get into it.
Well, if you tried today, I would not be mad at you for being like, "What the heck?"
I said at Buffalo Wild Wings the other day, like, and they had it on, and I was like, "Oh boy, like, yeah, turn that up." And then they They turn the volume up, and I'm like, oh god, no, please turn it down. And then I watch baseball for the next like 2 hours. But I have no fathomable interest in it. To me, it's not exciting. Like I understand, like I can get how like people can get behind it. Like that's not the issue. I just can't bring myself to enjoy it on a level or anything like that. So
that's fair.
That's just how my brain's work. I've just been. You guys started talking about that, and I immediately shut off.
Did you watch it yesterday?
So. Okay. No, I watched.
No, I mean, when did you try to watch it, or was that like a long time ago?
That was like Monday.
Oh, okay. Monday. It was Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I watched that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't.
There are large sections in the middle where you're like, "Yep, they're still writing." So I understand that.
And down a small hill.
And yesterday was like 100. No, today's Wednesday. Yeah, Monday was also pretty flat though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because that's when Yes. Peter crashed Monday, right? Yes. Yes, because Cav won yesterday. Thing today. Yeah, Monday was relatively just flat. Mostly. There was a few small hills, but it was very flat. And so like a lot of times it's like, yep, they're riding on a straight flat road. Not exciting.
Look at this helicopter shot.
Oh, I get that.
And we're gonna pan
like the end,
castle.
The very end is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The real exciting ones are the mountainy ones, where they're like super giant mountains in the middle. Those are pretty fun. Coming soon, I think. But anyway, Aaron, what else have you been doing this week other than being bored by the Tour de France?
Oh, before we get there, Aaron, houseplant update. How many are still alive? I need to know this.
They're doing fine.
He says
the lilies perked up a little bit.
Oh, good.
The lilies perked up. The fern's still crispy. I don't know how to fix that. But every time I try to set it outside, it's always like, wind, and then just like blows everything over. True. And then I got one side that's flat. So, I mean, the wind, it's fine. It's thriving.
Right.
Like I said, the fern is still crispy. The lily's fine.
Ferns can be tricky.
My little bonsai is fine. My avocado is freaking amazing.
What?
Yeah, I got a little avocado.
What? I missed that. When did that happen? That's amazing.
I talked about that. Like I think it was like when I was rambling about plants one day, and I was like, "Yeah, I got a little avocado." Yeah, no, it's we bought this little avocado thing from like Reese's, and then we were throwing it away, and I was like, "I can grow that." And Shelby's like, "All right." So I stuck it in. What I did was I took the little avocado nut and I put it on top of a toothpick holder and filled it with water and just like set it on the windowsill for like a month
to let it germinate.
Kind of forgot about it, and then a little stem just went boop, a little root came out the bottom, and I was like, ah. So I didn't have anything that I didn't have anything that was like small enough to like hold it, because everything else I had, it was like a cup and it was like awkwardly big.
Yes.
So I took one of my old teaching little like beakers and just like kind of stuck it on there and like just filled the whole thing up with water. And let me get set my laptop down. I'm giving a picture of it. And so there's just been a little root that's just growing out, and the little stem just off at the top. And so that's been my little pride and joy.
This is very exciting. I like this.
Come here. Just been doing avocado things. I don't know what to do with it now. That's the problem.
You're gonna have to transplant it somewhere.
Somewhere.
Have to get some large. How big do they get? Might need to look that up.
They get like a legit tree, don't they? Or they're a bush. Wait a minute.
Do they?
I can't remember. That's what I was going to ask. Is it a tree or a bush?
No, I'm pretty sure they're a tree, like a legit, like they get
Like a
like
tree.
like a crabapple sized tree.
Oh,
Wow. Oh,
Aaron, you need a
well, good thing we got a porch.
yes, it had to be.
But I think you can. They'll grow inside for a long time. You can just, yeah, I think you can just get a big, like a huge pot for him and get it growing in there, and it would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a game plan too, but I just sent you all pictures of it. Yeah, it's going. The other plants, my little bonsai trees are doing fine. The other ones, I don't know what that is, but that's doing fine. It was just the peace lily. Whoops.
There's a lot of plants in this picture, by the way. This is terrifying number of plants.
Yeah, so the peace lily. Oh, there's a lot. The peace lily was the one that was struggling for a little bit. I don't know. There's like, oh, I can set that there. Okay.
Gardening,
discovering plants in his house right now on air.
Well, no. So the fern is in one of the things that like you can hang from the ceiling, but we have a thing that's already there on the ceiling, and so it's like we just kind of place it awkwardly in the house, and then like if you touch it, it just leaves. So I literally just got it up off the ground. I set it on the handlebar of my exercise bike, so it's just now chilling, like a fern do.
Like they do.
Like fern do. Not fern gully, what a fern do. And look at that, it's raining. Marvelous. But that's really, Aaron's been working. I had some big plans for 4th of July, but I'm on call for county, so that's kind of died. Work, I got all day training tomorrow morning. 15 more days until Shelby is home. Look at my little calendar. Yeah.
All right.
I had my state test. What is today?
You had that Monday.
So tomorrow first. I did have that Monday, yes. So I have a calendar and I like fill it out a few days and then like I forget about it. I got a mark a little X. I don't know.
And you
I'm kind of at the I'm kind of at the point where I'm just like, if I pass, I pass. If not, it's whatever. It was just so many factors that I was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Hopefully I'll get it. If not, it's whatever. So I'll reschedule it and do what I can from there. But that was Monday. That took me about a good hour and a half, 2 hours to do. It was only like 90 questions. Wasn't too bad. The essay probably took me the longest, but I think I did fine on the essay.
Yeah, an essay.
And then, it was kind of a weird one. It was kind of a question of like, talk about the factors of World War II and what was the major cause of World War II in Europe and major cause of World War II in Asia. And then it's like, name 2 consequences from World War II. And I was like,
that's a loaded question right there. Only 2? I think.
So I did. I think I did pretty good on that part at least. But yeah, I mean, I felt like I wouldn't be surprised because when I took the practice test, I was like, I am killing this, and then I got the little results back. I'm like, oh, that is the opposite of killing it. So, I think I did fine.
Sure.
Like I said, if I pass.
How long do you have to wait for the results?
Yeah.
Did they tell you?
I think like a month. Yeah. Because they take everything like in bulk.
Yeah.
And like grade them all at once. So I'll give it a month, maybe a few weeks, and then I will finally know. But I got a little printout. I just go into like a little website and check off on it and be like, oh hey, this is then they'll send little updates, sporadically, and like, oh, hey, we're about 90% away of checking the test. So make sure you keep your email open. Like, oh, thank you. I mean, something that determines my future that I'm not going to check. No.
Oh yeah, it's fine. No, don't worry. I'll just casually leave my email open all the time. Never close the browser.
Yeah. So that's that. Like I said, I got training tomorrow. I got to drive a Husk at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which from here is about like an hour.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy. But I'm at least relatively consistent every single day with going to my little gym and like at least running 2 miles and then doing some form of workout afterwards of like some sort of weights or something. So that's been my consistent thing, because work's always going to be work. That's not going anywhere.
Way to shame your older brother. Thanks a lot for that, Aaron. Jeez Louise, come on, what are you killing me?
Oh, sorry.
But not really.
But yeah, no, that's I'll go. It's also my little mental break from work. If I stay at home and I get a chance to take an hour lunch, I'll go and run and do whatever for 30 minutes, and then I'll come back and get my mind reset. So it's a little restart for the day. But then I a lot more heavier set than I thought I was, and so I was like, oh, my legs, they're not as appreciating or accommodating as I once thought they were. So I have to readjust my whole like how I work out or how I view concepts of like stretching. So that was a different kind of adjusting. But I've been running almost every day for a month, except for like on Sundays. So that's been nice. But yeah, that's honestly been my entire week in a nutshell. Honestly, I took Friday off, or last Friday off, had Monday off, so that was kind of a nice little getaway. Nice. So a little 4-day weekend. So yeah, that's all I've been doing.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that is a good thing you brought up, because a lot of people do use the workout for like, it's not necessarily just for like body health, even though that is obviously a key important part of it, but is that like mental kind of relaxing, kind of like reset your brain, do something different type thing, right? Like, so that is another good important part to think about it, so that's good you've got that outlet. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that kind of helps. So
I know one of my friends, like whenever, like last year when all the gyms closed down, like, he was like, holy cow, what do I do now? Because like he obviously can work out at his house and he's got stuff, but like that sort of ritual of like getting your things, going to the gym, doing the stuff, that was like kind of like his mental, like you were talking about, like your mental like reset, kind of like recharge your mental things too, because you're focusing on this one thing and it's sort of like ritualized in that way to kind of collect your mind and get it all together. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Collin, what have you been up to other than any more bats in the belfry?
No, they're all belfry bat location, or belfry
bat free
location. Although across from us is a house that has been vacant for the entire time that we lived here, but yet it's owned by the aunt of a guy who goes to our church, and every 2 weeks he comes by and mows the lawn, and their mail still gets delivered there. Somebody comes and picks that up, but nobody lives in this house at all. And
okay,
and nobody goes into this house ever. And what I think happened is it's owned by the niece, but her mom lived in there and then had to go to senior living care facility.
Like, yeah, that's what was my guess.
and they just haven't done anything with the house. It's just sitting
Yeah.
there. And so I did have to inform him that I have seen a family of raccoons going in and out of the chimney recently. That they should probably at least go inside.
Yes.
And make sure that they are not going all the way into the house.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's go start a little fire. Make sure it's smoke out a little bit, you know.
And he was like, because at first, I caught him when he was mowing, when he was mowing, and I was just like, by the way, I've seen raccoons go down the chimney. I saw them on the roof, and all he heard was saw them on the roof, and it's like, oh, you saw them running across the roof, and I went and going down your chimney, and he was like, oh, okay. He was like, I'll need to let them know about that, and I was, yeah, that'd probably be great.
Yeah, you probably need to go inside and check out the family of raccoons is just taking up residence in the living room. It's like hanging out.
Might not be living in the house, but something is.
Something could be in there.
It's probably. So that was.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't want to be the one that walks in there, but
he's gonna get you. He knows your job. He's gonna be like, hey, there's a conservation guy that lives across the street. We're gonna go get him.
Right.
I hear he wrangles bats, so we're gonna get him to
this is a wildlife area. All wildlife are welcome. No, thank you. So yeah, we have a family of raccoons in the chimney, and then we had, I don't know if you guys saw the escape gentleman from the fairgrounds up here. Did you see that at all?
We mentioned that last week.
Yeah. So he was on the lamb, and it was so funny because as soon as people started getting out that he had escaped, they were like, oh, where's his mama and where did his baby mama live? And go just wait outside their houses. And sure enough, he made it all the way to Ozark County. And
whoa,
yeah,
hey.
which is a ways. And was found because that's where his mom was. I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of sweet.
Well,
yeah.
At least I got it.
Yeah. And if you wanted to see some angry looking officers, I can try and find that photo, and you can just, they're giving him the death stare as they're holding on to him. And I was like, that would be very awkward. Which is why,
I mean, yeah, obviously.
We have not seen any more work crews from the penitentiary out on
weird.
The they just
really
they just stopped showing up.
Who would have guessed that would happen?
So unfortunately, that means the threadbare grounds crew that they keep on staff, you know, they have a very
like the two guys that like
they have been weed whacking like crazy this week and trying to get caught up with everything because they don't have help from 10 to 15 guys and gals.
True. Maybe they need some sheep. I
think I think they may be someone may persuade them away from doing that. Although it'd be kind of cool.
It's fine.
We do have a lot of areas where they just keep them. They keep them as a manicured lawn for no reason.
Yeah.
Because nobody uses them for anything
other
than for a parking lot for 2 weeks during the fair. Otherwise, nothing. And so it would be a great place to put out keep sheep, I guess. But
well, I've heard that people do this with goats.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Because goats will eat like all the weeds and all the like they can eat like poison ivy, and it's just like, ooh, that tastes nice. And so like there are people that will just like bring goats to places and just sort of like stand around while the goats eat stuff. And they're like, all right, back in the trailer, let's go. And sort of like shepherd them back in and take them away. Like it's
it's kind of like when they call in falconers to remove nuisance birds from around malls and other office buildings.
Yeah, just bring in the goat squad. Just like eat all this stuff. Especially, you would think like at the state fairgrounds, surely there's someone nearby that has a couple goats.
Well,
they
I
could
think
just,
they
like,
would have some
bring out.
connections at least. They would know how to pick up the phone and go, hi.
Yeah, they know people who do have goats.
Yes, we have a massive place that's just it's just the goat barn.
The goat barn.
The goat barn. So I would start by looking there, actually.
Yeah. Find out who goes and visits that place. Call them. Say, excuse me. Do you have any other goats? Probably not your show goat. You probably don't want to bring your show goat out, right? But
boy, do we have
bring out their friends.
Yeah.
Come hang out, do the thing. It's the second conversation about showing livestock I've had this week. We went to Shayna had a performance of her musical. They did Junie B. Jones at the college.
Oh yeah,
or like their summer theater thing. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, it was actually really good. I was like skeptical. I was like, Junie B. Jones, whatever. No, it was good. It was funny. But we took one of our. We went with my friend and her daughter, and like her daughter's their cousin, right? And their cousin apparently cattle shower. Like I didn't know this. Like so she was like explaining to me the rules of cattle showing at dinner. I'm like, what? All right.
Nice.
It's her aunt and her because it's her, I guess her brother. So my friend's brother's little kid, right? Daughter. And so they were telling me all about this. I was like, what? I had no idea. I was like giving her grief. It's like, you're holding out on me. Who knew? You knew this much about livestock. What is going on here?
Apparently there's a lot more involved in it than I ever have imagined or would have thought possible. Just based off of some people that I've talked to or I just, have watching. It's crazy involved.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. Interesting. Like I didn't know these things. Like I didn't know what like they're looking for. They're looking at like the hips, obviously, and like the back has to be a certain way. And apparently with cattle, anyway, you are required to brush the hair in certain areas in the opposite direction for showing.
So they can see.
And I think it's muscles? To highlight. Yes. It's like the spine, like kind of in the middle of the back.
Yeah.
And then like the back legs.
Oh.
So that probably, I'm guessing she didn't say this, but I'm imagining it's because, like you said, that way you can see them walking better. Right. Or you can see the spine as opposed to just if it's all the hairs brush one direction.
Yeah. Because the people,
there you go.
The people, doing the judging, they don't get up and I guess they do walk around them a little bit, but they don't spend a lot. It's crazy. I told you we went to the youth cattle livestock show up at the fair here, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you talked about it. You sent a picture to us.
Oh, okay.
That's all. I don't.
So yeah, we were driving by and Noah was like, "What are all those trucks over there for?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's go find out." So we just pulled in and started walking around.
Noah saw a truck and was like, "Let's go." I was like,
what he does. And I was like, they're showing cattle. And so we sat up in the Coliseum on the fairgrounds and watched the youth cattle show. And it is insane the amount of detail the judges are able to give about individual cattle after looking at them for 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And
yeah, it's a whole thing that's very foreign to me. Like, I don't really understand what's happening.
I had no idea either. And so we sat up there and we're mostly just like talking to the kids, like, which one of the three do you like the most? And then, kind of talk through that. And then over time, you're able to see like, okay, he is looking for shoulders. He's looking for where they're carrying weight. He's looking for their gait. He's looking for their stuff. And he'd say weird stuff like, I'd like to see him with bigger hooves. And I was like, they can't change that about this one. You know that, right? Like, that's not. But what they're talking
That's a weird
about,
sentence.
Yeah,
I wonder.
what they're talking about is like, because these are like to improve the genetics of their herd, like, or of make it a better thing. Like, this one's good. If you could keep everything the same like this, but breed one that has bigger feet, do that. You're like, oh my gosh, like like that was the kind of detail that this guy was giving for some of these.
That's crazy.
Of like, yeah, these are kind of immutable characteristics of this individual and cow. Why are you asking it to make its feet bigger? And it's like, oh, because you're talking about like the next cow. This is just cow. Starting.
Yes.
You're talking about cow 2 or 3. I see.
Well, and livestock judging does make a lot more sense when you put it in that perspective. Like, oh, if you think about the future cows,
yes,
or future goats or pigs or whatever,
yeah,
that sentence does make more sense now. Like, oh, you want them to be better overall. Okay, I got it. So yeah, that's another weird thing about the judging is it's not necessarily just judging this cow. It's judging the next cow.
Yeah.
Or the next pig, whatever.
Yeah. No, it's just totally cool. And we got to walk around and see some of the all the different farms from around the state prepping their cattle for show and how they had them situated. And it was cool. We didn't talk to anybody. We just walked around, and it was at that point I stepped back.
Yeah, she was telling us about like, oh, you have to walk this way, and then you have to like stop in a certain area. Like, there's like a routine they're supposed to kind of follow.
Yeah,
kind of like the dog show, right? You do the down and then you run and whatever. But like, you don't run with the cows probably, but they're not built for speed anymore.
No,
so
with the cow.
Yeah, you don't really want cows running, from what I understand. That's bad.
They tend to avoid the running at all costs, actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's not good for them.
To run. The whole like stampede thing.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Bad connotations. Like, yeah, a bunch of cows are running towards me.
I've seen Western movies. I know stampede cows are bad.
Yeah, there's that documentary, City Slickers, right?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Exactly tells you why running is bad. Also, I played a video game one time where you had to herd cows.
What?
And so running was bad. Well, it was a Western game, and many Western games at the beginning or somewhere will have a section where you have to herd things.
Okay.
Oh, I hated that level in Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, so in Red Dead Redemption, you do have to herd cows. Also, I believe in the video game Gun, there's also an extensive herding segment where you must herd cattle. I just remembered that. That's an old one. I haven't played that game in a long time.
See,
it's like PlayStation 2, maybe?
I thought you were talking about there was a like bespoke game that was just herding. Truck. Like
there
truck
probably is. There is a game called Farm Simulator. So
yeah.
I bet there are herding video games.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there. I was just
in like the simulator category.
Yeah. When you were like, "Oh, I've played this," I was like, "Hold up, like, wait a minute."
Yeah, no, there's a section in a couple of those games where I think in Gun you can herd them. It's like a way to make money, right? You can like sign up. You can do like these herding missions and stuff. I don't
maybe
remember exactly how that works, but yes, you can herd things.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it. Accept it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. We have an unanswered question on the table.
Uh-oh.
And our listeners are probably mad at us. And so I think we need to spend a little bit of time this episode rectifying that question.
Okay. Yes.
What actually is your third favorite ice cream?
Oh man.
So it's
You know what? You're right. I'm sorry, listeners. We have totally let you down.
We left you hanging at the end of that episode there. And we made a joke about it. And like this morning I was thinking like, what actually is my third favorite ice cream? I don't know. Or and so I want to know.
Okay.
I think we need to answer this question. What is your third favorite ice cream?
Okay. So this is tricky because
it's loaded too, because like from where? Or is this like of all the ice creams in general? Like if I went to Brahms or the store and bought it, like
yeah.
How does this work?
With like just like individual bespoke ice cream flavors, or like core, very common kind of traditional ice cream flavors?
Yeah, I was gonna leave out like super, basically like all Ben and Jerry's probably out, right? Because those are all like super hyper specific. You can only get those in one spot.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining this scenario: you go out to eat, and then there's some ice cream. Like you go to the booth, you go up to the thing, and they have the rows of ice cream in there.
Yeah.
What's your third favorite one? So you're at Brahms, you're at Baskin Robbins, you're somewhere like that. You're just normal ice cream flavors. Mm-hmm. What's your third favorite one?
And for this scenario, I'm basically thinking they don't have the other one. Just they're fresh.
Yeah, they're out.
Right?
Yeah, they're out. They're out of your first two choices.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh hey, if you're me, you're like, oh, I want some mint chocolate chip. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of that. Like, oh no. And then they're out of whatever I say second. What's third?
Well,
I think of it too, like third is also that one that like you don't normally get, but you like it, but you just like the other one better. So sometimes you're just like, you know what? I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to switch up my order today. I'm going to go with this other one that I like.
Yeah. You bring it,
but I normally don't get it. I normally don't get it because I like this one the most. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. We know that Aaron is going to be like, oh man, I always get chocolate chip cookie dough. So like
fair.
This time I'm going to switch it up and get this other one. What's up?
Yeah. So
what's the third
favorite? I'm going to go with strawberry.
Oh.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a classic one, but I think that's because
they usually have that.
Yeah.
They usually have that.
Because something like I'm probably going to go with a vanilla with something or a chocolate with something, and then strawberry. I think strawberry is really, especially because it is like it's something that I do enjoy, I do like, but I'm not really in the mood for it because there's the other ones that are available, but I think there are times where I get it more on a string, especially like I really enjoy strawberry ice cream in the summer because it's really good. I really like strawberry.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if they didn't have honestly, my number one choice is going to be a vanilla, but that has but also I like vanilla because you can do so much to it and add all the toppings you want, and
that's true.
Things don't get weird.
You go for the sundae approach. You're just like, but can I put all this stuff in there?
That's what I have in my mind of like, what am I adding to this to make it more delicious? So yeah,
that's fair.
I'm probably a vanilla and then a mint chocolate chip and then a strawberry. Kind of. That's what I'm going with. Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite is strawberry.
All right. Aaron, what do you think? What would your third favorite ice cream be?
Well, I mean, pretty much exactly what you said. Chocolate chip cookie dough, number one, right off the bat. I have been let down several times emotionally by Brahms. The past several times I've been there, I'm like, oh, chip cookie dough, we're out of it. Do you just hate me, or
Aaron? I'm sorry, I didn't know this topic was going to hit so close to home today. I apologize. I didn't know. I didn't know this is real life for you.
Bringing all this up.
So,
jeez.
So chocolate chip cookie dough, and then like number two is definitely it's either like cookies or cream. But like sometimes the cookies taste differently in different ice creams, and
it's true.
That's also another thing that's like, oh, it's not your round. So that my third choice honestly would probably be vanilla, just like straight up. Also depending on where I'm at, if they have like sprinkles or chocolate, like drizzle that on there. That happens a lot. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess my third option, if nothing else is available, would just be straight up vanilla, because that's just the one that I would just go straight up to and not have to deal with it, because have to understand, I'm already emotionally compromised.
It's true.
So like, why would I want to do so? Yeah, just go straight to that one, and then it'll just call it good. So you can't be hurt anymore. That's why. Fine.
Vanilla, so you can't be hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Vanilla, just boom. The salve that heals all wounds. Yeah. Vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream with sprinkles. I mean, especially if it's from Freddy's.
I mean, yeah. Because, like Collin said, vanilla is like the canvas ice cream.
Yeah.
Right? You could put anything on it. Because other ones, like strawberry ice cream, you can only put some things on that one. Chocolate ice cream, I think you put most things on it. But, like, vanilla, literally everything is fair game. Right? In the topping world. So you can go ham on the top. You're like, I'll get in the cup instead.
Do not put ham on vanilla ice cream.
Hey, try it. You do you, man. Do what you want.
Vetoed.
Veto. But yeah, especially if you put it in the cup. That way you don't like make a mess with your sprinkles. This cone and sprinkles, not a good combo, right? Bad times.
And so for you, Brandon,
this one is also this is hard because, like, all right, so my ice cream preference kind of is a problem in this area because I am weird and I like stuff in my ice cream. Right? I like things in it. I like the little crunchy bits in there when it's like mint. Like, I like mint chocolate chip ice cream because I like the crunchy chocolate pieces that are in there. Right? And so I don't generally want ice cream that doesn't have something already in it. And so this can be a problem because there's not always a lot of those anyway. There's sometimes like weird ones, but like readily available. I think sometimes you just go with like the straight up. So again, mint chocolate chip, probably number one because I like that one a lot. Mm-hmm. Classic one. Sometimes if I have it, they have like sometimes I'll have some sort of like chunky chocolate thing or whatever, where it's like chocolate ice cream with chocolate chunks in there.
Yeah.
I like that one. I think third favorite one though. It's hard. Because like Aaron said, cookies and cream is a good one, but like not everywhere. Like sometimes it's good. And sometimes you're like, what is this? What cookies did you put in this to make this taste so bad?
Yeah. Why does this taste so sad?
Yeah. And the cookies get like mushy.
Yeah.
And I want mushiness. I want like crunchiness, So I'm like, no one wants mushy cookies in their ice cream. That's gross. So I think I am going to pull out an old time classic, and I'm going to go Rocky Road.
Ooh.
Third favorite ice cream.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey. Okay, Jack.
He gets vanilla all the time. Don't even like.
See, Rocky Road, it's one of those. I don't like ice creams that are too busy. I don't.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not a fan of all the stuff in it. Like, it can have some things, but when it's like,
yeah, I do like.
We got nuts and caramel and crunch cluster and this thing and fudge in there and.
I really like crunchy things, which is why sometimes I have a problem with ice cream. Like, I don't love it all the time.
Yeah. Because
I really like things that crunch. I like foods that crunch a lot. Something very satisfying about that to me. I don't know why. It's weird. So, like, okay. I think I'm going to go with Rocky Road is the third one. Because they have the nuts in there, right?
Yeah.
The other problem with ice cream, so a lot of times ice cream has walnuts. I don't like walnuts. Oh. I learned this about myself. Walnuts, gross. But the almond pieces, that's fine.
Interesting. Interesting that there's you're not the first person who has said that they are a not a walnut fan, but they love almond. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love them, but like in the ice cream world, right?
Mhm.
I would much rather have an almond than a walnut. There's something about the taste of a walnut
Interesting.
that I'm not a fan of.
I guess I am not as a discerning of a nut person, because kind of unless I'm eating it by itself, tastes the difference.
No, you definitely can, especially in like sweets, like ice cream, and you can taste it really bad when Susan's mom puts them in chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah,
And that might be just because in my mind, a chocolate chip cookie tastes a very specific way. And when you put a walnut in there, what have you done? You've messed up everything. Everything is off now. And I don't like it. There's something about the taste of a walnut that I'm just not into. And so, like every other nut, basically, that I've tried, again, have I tried all of the available? No, obviously not. All of the ones that I have tried.
Beach nut. Peanut.
Hazel.
Yes.
Yeah, I could have named every kind of nut.
Is
Sorry.
easy, Bubba. We're gonna but like, yeah, there's something about the walnut that just doesn't mix well with me. I don't like the taste, and so yeah, I'm gonna go Rocky Road. I think.
Okay.
Boom.
Fair.
Third favorite item.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Also, that's a good song.
Great song.
Well, we have solved people's problems. I believe.
You're welcome.
That's true. They were curious. They wanted to know what Aaron's third favorite ice cream was.
Literally,
And so,
getting knocking down doors, and we have prevented that for at least the time being.
okay, you guys can stop emailing us now. Okay, it's fine. We answered the question. It's okay.
And we'll go from there. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Well, love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.